So we begin with 2ED, CGSP, DMCP, CSEP, co-host of Event Brew Podcast, board of directors of the Search Foundation, 2020 to 2021 president of ILEA Los Angeles, and TISOH class of 2013 in our executive diploma program in event management. A fun fact about Tui is that she is the unofficial expert for the critically acclaimed Netflix critically acclaimed show Tiger King. And also, if you see a little blurb to the left, if you guys receive any emails from me or anybody from TISOH, yes, she is the photo of our TISOH brochure. Tui, hi, how are you?
Hi, doing well. How are you doing, Anthony?
Doing well, doing well. Happy to have you here.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here. I'm so grateful for this community.
Absolutely. Next we have is Emily Grace Juleton, CGSP owner, Emily Grace Weddings and Events. She is our 2015 graduate in the Executive Diploma program with the emphasis in wedding management, class of 2015. Fun fact about Emily, she is a Zumba instructor. So if you want to dance with her, feel free to reach out to her. Hi, Emily, how are you?
Hi, it's Anthony. Hello there. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Our next panel is Chandra Talaga, CGSP, Catering and Convention Service Manager for the Venetian Resorts Las Vegas. Chandra is a graduate of the Executive Diploma program in Conference Management, 2014. A fun fact about Chandra, she is part of the Elizabethan Reenactment Guild, an avid participant at the Renaissance festivals. Now, Chandra, what is an Elizabeth Reenactment Guild?
So I'm in one of many. Basically, we reenact the times of the 16th century and try to be as historically accurate as possible.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. Next we have is Rebecca Valdivieso, Business Development Manager for MGM Resorts Event Productions. In her spare time, she is also the Live Entertainment and Award Show Production Manager. She's a frequent member of the PCMA, ILEA, LVHA, and Toastmasters. Rebecca graduated in our certificate in Conference Management and Event Planning last year, 2019. A fun fact about Rebecca is that she is a veteran for The Price is Right. Hi, Rebecca, how are you?
Hello, hi everyone. Thanks for having us, Anthony.
Wonderful. We'll go ahead and get started with the discussion. So this next question is for all the panel. Oh, I'm sorry, before I begin, they went a little ahead. Not to forget the last, but certainly not least, Ms. Mandy Weiss. Mandy, CGSP, Design and Development Manager of 360 Destination Group Las Vegas. She's also the Director of a Membership for the ILEA Las Vegas. She currently serves as Vice President for our very own TISOH Alumni Association. Mandy graduated in 2018 in our Executive Diploma program, Event Management. A fun fact about Mandy is that she can teach herself to double roll her tongue just because she wanted to. So Mandy, I'm going to see if you can give us a visual at the end of this program, if you would like. Mandy, how are you?
Doing really good. Thank you all for having me and for the opportunity to shower. I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, so this is a question for all the panel. How has your job been affected by COVID-19? So we'll begin with Tui.
Oh, goodness. Hello, all you cool cats. So how has my job been affected by COVID-19? So I was recently laid off mid-March, not furloughed, completely laid off of PRA Business Events. I was with that company for almost 6 years, 3 of those years being in the Las Vegas office and the remaining 2.5 years here in Los Angeles. It was my first career after graduating TISOH, and now I'm just remaining positive and open to the next chapter in my story.
Yes, always stay positive. Emily, how has your job been affected by COVID-19?
So as self-employed and own a business, our spring weddings have been postponed, or we are actually waiting to reschedule, and 2 of my weddings have been canceled. So we're kind of like on hold right now, and we don't know because we're waiting for the venues to open up, and most of the brides are really waiting to see what's going to happen next.
Yes, yes, and we all know, like, weddings are going to happen, and hopefully your couples, as a side note, hopefully they would stay as a part of their engagement.
Right.
Yes. All right. How about you, Chandra?
So currently the resorts are closed, as you all know. So we've been working from home as much as we're able to. Most of our events have either canceled or postponed. We're trying to get people to just reschedule for the summer or fall. But there's quite a few groups that are probably just going to cancel altogether this year and hopefully hope for next year.
Okay, thank you, Chandra. And how about you, Rebecca?
Like many others in our industry and here in Las Vegas, I was furloughed a month ago when the casinos shut down and closed. However, I'm very grateful that there is light at the end of the tunnel for me. And thank goodness for unemployment and grant funds. So huge thank you to all the generous donors out there for us.
Thanks, Rebecca. And you, Mandy?
So working with a company like 360 Destination Group, they're considered a small business because they're less than 500 people. They've really been doing a good job trying to hold us all as employed as we possibly can, but I literally just got furloughed about 2 hours ago. So It's been an interesting ride. But it's, again, like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Everyone's in the same boat. It's affecting us all. It's just our industry right now.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So our next question, since of COVID-19, what are you doing during this time of quarantine? Either for, if you're currently working or you're doing it for leisure. So I'll begin with Tui.
Okay, I want to break this down professionally and personally. So professionally, I feel like I'm still, I don't say busy, productive as ever. So I am one of the co-hosts for Event Brew podcast, which is an opinionated industry-related podcast with three amazing, we call each other the Brew Crew. So we're weekly recording, like every single Friday morning, we're chatting with each other, which is great. I'm also on the board of directors for Search Foundation, which is event professionals who are in crisis and need relief. So I serve on the media team, and that I do every single day. And of course, there's ILEA. So within Los Angeles here, I'm incoming president. So I'm working on our new term, planning for succession, our board of directors, trying to slate that out. And regards to HQ for ILEA, I'm on the professional development committee. So I assist with all the new COVID-19 webinars. So if I highly encourage, those are all complimentary. And it's great because I actually learned at TISOH from Tim, Marcus, and Donnell that you need to maintain that network. So even though I technically don't have a career right now and don't have a job, I'm still just involved in the industry, which I, love. Personally, I'm doing the things that I want to do, which is amazing. So I'm taking this online Yale course called The Science of Well-Being. I'm also reading books I want to read. So there's two right now that are industry related: Engaging Remotely and Social: Why Our Brains Are Wired to Connect. I have this love-hate relationship with my paint by number. And I'm also cooking homemade meals and reaching out, checking in, connecting via house party, FaceTime, texting with just my friends and my family, or I'm sending them about 50 memes a day. And then, of course, and most importantly, I'm reflecting and relaxing. So I'm spending me time. I'm putting in my naps. I'm not being productive some days, and it's okay. And I'm okay with not being okay on those days and just being kind and compassionate to myself.
Wow, thank you, Tui. I'm just at home watching Netflix all day. I'm not doing any of that.
Are you watching Tiger King?
Yes, Tiger King. And I think everyone in here is pretty much watching Tiger King as well.
So I think you become an unofficial expert when
Yeah.
you've watched it 3 times, which I have. No joke.
Oh, that's how it is.
The first time I was like, yeah, I guess I don't need to sleep tonight. All right.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Emily? What are you doing during this time of quarantine?
You're muted.
Oh, Emily's muted. Okay, let me go ahead and unmute. All right, Emily, can you hear me?
She's still muted. There she
Can
goes.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Oops, technical
Okay.
glitch.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So just to copy on Dewey, my personal things that I'm doing for myself, I started cleaning my house, getting rid of stuff that doesn't serve me anymore. I do a 30-minute walk. Um, I do listen to webinars whenever I can. So it's to make sure of like, hey, what can I do for my business now during this time? So, and then as part as an owner, I try to review all my packages, my portfolio, just so when this thing open up again, then I'm ready. And other things like for fun, I love watching the K drama right now. So I'm really just enjoying and having some good time with my husband and my kids.
Oh, thank you, Emily. How about you, Chandra?
So I am doing a little bit of work here and there. Have a few clients that are still reaching out for later on this year. Doing some webinars and studying a little bit for the CPCE. Hopefully, I'll be doing that sometime this year. But for fun wise, I mean, I've been actually baking and cooking a lot of meals at home, reading some books, which I've been putting off for a while, and then doing some spring cleaning. So hopefully by the time we're out of our houses, my house will be completely cleaned and organized, and I'll have a lot of
Wonderful. Thank you, Chandra. How about you, Rebecca?
I'm thoroughly enjoying quarantine. On the business side, or as much business as I can be, I guess, I'm trying to still stay engaged in the industry. I'm signed up for a couple free hospitality courses that I found online. I'm studying for the CMP exam that's been on my list for this year. And oddly enough, I've been exercising my noggin by doing some cognitive aptitude tests, which I've also found free online. So that's actually been a good way to still exercise my brain. And I've been reading. I have this daily positive affirmations book by Cindy Spiegel. So that's been keeping myself, I've been trying to keep myself aligned with what's out of my control and how I can make the best of it without letting it completely defeat me with my state. And for fun and to exercise my creativity, I have actually started designing people's resumes, which I've enjoyed for so long now. I've also been catching up with friends and family on House Party and Zoom, doing some at-home workouts, which are free on live Instagram and YouTube, so that's been fun. I've been getting some fresh air, vitamin D with my pup, and like Tui said, I've been allowing lots of downtime because this is a once-in-a-life opportunity that we have this much free time, and I have to practice forgiving myself to just sit still and not do anything at all, since it's so foreign for us in the events industry. We're always on the go. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying this time to recharge and letting my hair and my skin revitalize since I don't have to get ready. But I enjoyed it today. I still enjoy getting ready once a week. So that's fun.
Well, thank you for sharing, Rebecca. And then Mandy, what are you doing during this time of quarantine?
So I've been just trying to make a good plan every day, give myself something to do. One of my things on my list for 2019 and 2020 was to read War and Peace, and I'm halfway through that. So reading is something that's definitely on the list. And then now that I'm going to have a little bit more free time, definitely reading, laying out in the sun, getting the vitamin D, like Rebecca said, doing workouts for sure, trying not to eat because, it's just so easy and accessible and it's right there every day. Definitely, I've been watching a lot of TV and I feel guilty about it, but not too guilty about it because I'm allowing myself to feel the feels and work through it. But then I stop with that and go back and do something that's actually good for my brain. So finding a lot of classes online and free things online to try to stay educated and make my resume look even better on the other side of this and be a perk to my employer on the other side of this.
All right. Well, thank you, Mandy. I just have a question to the panel. If you guys don't mind, at the end of this this webinar, I'm gonna share some information. If you guys have any information or any classes that you have seen, we'll definitely share that with our the people that are registered for this webinar. Sounds good?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
That's good.
All right. So we'll begin with our question for our panel. So begin with, what is your current job and how to get where you are today? I'm going to ask that to beginning with Mandy.
So my current job is I am design and development manager at 360 Destination Group. So basically, I work with all the vendors in the city and multiple cities to build relationships and find out what's accessible in our industry. Then I take all that knowledge and I create proposals for clients, and I work heavily with our sales department to create the proposals that they're going to give to the clients. It's my dream job. I mean, it's really fun. It's just, it's getting to know everything that's in the industry and making sure you can sell it, and you sell it to your salesperson that sells it to somebody else. It's fantastic.
Yes.
The pricing is what it is, and you get to play with pricing, and you get to negotiate, and you get to use both sides of your brain, and it's just so much fun. I got there through a very strange process, but I got into Vegas, it'll be 3 years in June. I had come out here on vacation, very cliche, quit my job, sold my house back in Michigan, where I'm originally from, found TISOH on a Wednesday and started classes on Monday. And I just jumped into the industry. I knew it was going to be my passion, my dream. I wanted to follow it. And I just jumped in and started learning as much as I possibly could, as fast as I possibly could. During school, I worked at Buca de Beppo in catering and realized that the catering side wasn't really my passion and where I wanted to go. I went out to Westin Lake, Las Vegas from there. I was a CSM, convention service manager, out at the hotel for about 16 months, which was a ton of fun. That's actually, I met Emily there. We used to work in weddings, and I did a lot of social work out there, and God love any of you that do social work, because it's a different breed. And once I knew that's not where I wanted to be, I wanted to do corporate events, I wanted to do creative, I wanted to be out there doing more of the big planning processes rather than just inside the hotel. So I found 360 Destination Group and started working for a DMC in November, and it's exactly what I want to do, and it's crazy fun. And everyone on this panel and most of you that are in the audience today have been a great support. I know a lot of you, and TISOH's been a magnificent sounding board and diving board to use to get there.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mandy.
Thank you, Whitney.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anthony.
So Rebecca, can you explain your current job and how you get to where you are today?
Yes. So my current job, I guess, for load or not, I am the business development manager, one of the business development managers at MGM Resorts Event Production, which is a corporate division under MGM Resorts umbrella. My job is to tell the MREP story and drive new business opportunities for our event design and production services. I started out working in the service industry, a couple restaurants while I was in college a few years back. Since it was also a tough time about 10 years ago with the recession, I started out by doing a lot of volunteer work with nonprofit organizations, charity events, and honestly anyone that just needed assistance for any type of events. And this is just like me putting my own free time without pay. And that is how I put myself out there, and I learned the fundamentals of networking and building relationships as well as events. And then from there, I dipped my toes in weddings and social events. And like Mandy, I found that it's fine, it was fun, but it just wasn't for me. Like she said, it takes a very special breed of people to do weddings and social events. Guess I'm not that special. I also did live televised and award show productions. And then I found myself in corporate events, and here I am now, and I really enjoy this awesome industry of meetings and events. And I think that I'm pretty sure this is my forever home. So that's how we got here.
Well, thank you for sharing, Rebecca. All right, so our next question is, describe your most successful event and how did you plan it? This question is for Tui.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little quick shout out to the last event I planned with PRA because that was probably the most feeling of like wholeness because the clients were incredible. It was just a collaboration. It was a lot of work. How did I plan it? It was, I want to say, from the bid, from the initial site inspection, all the way to winning it, all the way to like submitting it for awards, and then the planning. It was a two-wave, 1,600 people, a lots of decor design elements on top of just, of course, the logistics end of it. Mandy, I think we both do, or we were doing the similar things, planning, designing, and making sure we also are doing all the numbers and budgeting end of it. And so I wouldn't necessarily count that because day before when we were on site getting ready to set up, it actually, due to COVID and the state of emergency here in California, it actually got canceled. So we were on site with the clients, but it was still really rewarding because we were there to comfort the clients and still like work together as a team, which is wonderful. I would say the most memorable and still the most like it makes me smile just thinking about it is ILEA Las Vegas did our first annual Search Foundation charity gala. It was at where was it? The CD, I think. It was like that country club right on Las Vegas Boulevard, and we raised $28,000 that night, and it was all the Las Vegas event professionals, and actually some people flew in for it. And it was just a wonderful evening of raising money for a great cause. And I'm still a part of both those associations and groups. And so that one was, it was wonderful. That's probably my favorite event that I helped plan on. We had students come in from Johnson, Wales, and Rhode Island. I think I want to say 12 of them came and flew from Rhode Island. We had, I think, like 22 sponsors. It was just like so many people were involved in it. And I think that's something that's so beautiful is that we came together for something bigger.
Yeah, and I definitely, admire you too. The way that you answer the questions, when you say most successful, we immediately think financially, but sometimes most successful is the most rewarding. And I'm sure that those $28,000 that you raised are going to some much needed event professionals definitely at this time, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of it. And that's really, it's working with each other, right? I think that's the one thing about our industry that's so beautiful is the fact that we get to collaborate and like on really fun things too. And we get to, I think everyone in this industry is creative because you don't have to be creative like, oh, that's avant-garde and this is how I want the tablescape to look. But it's also creative problem solving, which is so needed right now, trying to figure out what's next in our industry, what's next in our career. And so creative problem solving and really just working together in that sense is just a beautiful thing.
All right, well, thank you, Tui. Okay. Now, our next question is for Rebecca. What tactics do you use to win over your client?
I would say since sales and this industry really is heavily involved, heavily relationship based, I have found that the best tactic is being 100% my authentic, quirky self. I want to relate to anyone that I come across on a natural human level, as I believe that is the best way to connect with anyone. And once I reach that level, I feel like trust is formed on both ends. So when I was a restaurant server, that is one of the biggest takeaways that I was grateful for and that I learned. I learned how to soft sell by being myself and gaining customers' trust with anything that I recommended. So while upselling avocado for $3 or a double shot in your margarita for an additional $4, I felt like if I told them why they should do it because I thought it tasted well, then they'll do it. And I feel like those are small soft selling tactics that I've still held on to because it works. And not even like you're trying to manipulate anyone. You're genuinely just giving what you think is best. So I would say to be yourself to a professional degree, of course, and then you'll be able to gauge when you can be playful and a true friend to your customers. And authenticity is key. People can see right through anything other than that, and they'll disregard any phoniness. So just being authentic, yourself, but still being professional.
And most importantly, sell, 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 right?
Sell, sell, sell.
Yes.
Sell is key.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca. The next question is for Chandra. Have you ever gone over budget? And how do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, part of what my job is to help my clients spend. So we start with the minimum, and of course, I try to get them to go over that amount. So I'm not really sure. I mean, like sometimes they will have a max budget of like, we absolutely cannot go over, a set amount. So sometimes you might have to do a custom menu or, you know, tone it down a little bit with some decor, or you just have to kind of work with the client, try to really figure out what their vision truly is for their event, and see what you can do to truly help them with that vision to come alive within a realistic spend amount.
Yeah. Well, I mean, would you say that, for all event professionals out there, it's like we always try to get our clients to go over budget so that we have room to go.
I mean, honestly, we do, but I mean, at the same time, we want to also help our clients so that they can come back to us time and time again and trust us with their budgets. So, I mean, you have to kind of really toe a fine line, with that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chandra. Okay. Now, our next question is, what would you recommend for TISOH students to do right now that will give them a competitive advantage over others in this industry? Emily, do you want to chime in?
I think I could speak for like experience that I have from the beginning of launching my business. So I don't stop learning. I constantly crave to learn more stuff. Like right now, my weakness is design part of it. So I enrolled in a small class where I can learn the basics of designing, and then research more of like maybe a software that can help me, like use that technique or whatever I learned for. And then second thing is like learn just joining the webinars, and you learn from the pro of what exactly they're doing, how are they handling things. What else do I have? Just try to learn new skills and polish yourself, or like how you can be a better person and a better like what you wanted to, like your goals as far as like personal and business related.
Yeah, of course. And at this time, there's so many companies giving out complimentary access to webinars. Would you say that you have so much resources right now at home?
Yes, yeah, take advantage of those, because what they say at the with a webinar yesterday, everything goes back to zero. So all of us are like really like wanting to like move forward, and then how are we going to do this? So as you as a student, continue what you're doing right now, try to network and try to learn as much as you can from the vendors that you have met, learn from the other alumni and what they're doing. Just constantly network and reach out.
Yes, absolutely. I also want to say that, with all the audience here today, if you're using Zoom, you guys going to have a competitive advantage amongst others. You're technically advantaged because, you'll be able to access this webinar, register the link. So, just being a frequent user of Zoom would be an advantage in itself.
Right.
Right. Hey, the next question is for Tui. I'm graduating this month. Do you think it is wise to apply for jobs in hospitality?
No, just kidding. Absolutely, why not? You're on this path already for the current students. You're on this path already. continue on it. This is not a problem, it's a challenge, right? So it really is your mindset. Anything, if you keep a positive mental attitude, then you can really defeat, conquer anything. This is just a little hurdle to see if how determined you are to be a part of this like greatness that we love so dearly. And so I really encourage you to keep your LinkedIn updated. If you do webinars or write articles, or I think I remember being a student and going to networking events, the NACE, the ILEAs, the I want to say I'm trying to remember the one in Las Vegas. I haven't been there in a while.
LPHA?
Yes, and I for someone that's so extroverted, I was like, I can't. There's nothing I can do to provide like value to these people's lives. That's what I thought, and which isn't true, because the people that were kind to me and that I ended up keeping a connection with, I ended up partnering with them through my career when I became a young professional. And that's the thing and I want to just encourage you so much, like continue to be this learner for life. And you are the future generation of our industry. Like, let that sink in. You're the future generation of our industry. If anything, we're looking towards you to say, what do you think is cool? Is it TikTok? Like, what do we need to get on right now to make sure that we know how to plan for you? And so you will one day be our bosses, hopefully, right? And so yes, I would say it's so rewarding. This is a safe zone. It's definitely a lot of hours. So know your boundaries. Like I said, go back to being kind to yourself, and really being adaptive and flexible are going to take you so far. You might have a deadline or even your homework assignment, and something pops up. Your mom wants to talk to you, right? And so you have to figure out how to go about having both. And so that will take you into your career. You're applying those skill sets, and you guys already have such an advantage, because as you are students, you and to keep growing it. And I would say, like, we can't wait to see you at these events that you probably will plan or be a part of in the future. We're really like counting on you, looking forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you, Tuli, for sharing. All right. The next question is, have you had to reschedule your events due to coronavirus? If so, when will that happen? That question is for Mandy.
Yeah. Every event that we've had has either canceled or rescheduled, postponed. We're running into bigger events that are having problems rescheduling in the year, because third and fourth quarter were already taken. So space is limited. When you're talking 5,000, 6,000 people, these resorts can't just turn that space into magical air. And then every day with the new regulations for COVID, and we're talking about social distancing, being 6 feet apart is gonna change what events look like. So even the events that had postponed or rescheduled, with the new regulations, not knowing what a start date's going to be, not knowing what a release date or what it's going to look like on the other side of this, is holding clients are hesitant to go forward. So yes, every event that we've had has canceled, rescheduled, postponed, whatever word you want to use for it, due to the virus.
Thank you, Mandy.
Mm.
All right. Our next question is, with the recent movement to virtual and online meetings, i.e. webinars, Zoom sessions, do you see that the future of hospitality service becoming more automated and less in person? Well, that question is for Rebecca.
I do see it becoming more automated, but I don't see it becoming less in person. I think that the hospitality, travel, meetings, and events industry is just going to become even stronger than before. Tuning into Global Meetings Industry Day yesterday, I think the biggest takeaway was that the meetings and events industry will upgrade to hybrid offerings, meaning both online options as well as in-person live options as well. I think while digital and virtual can fill a gap like it has been right now. What we took away yesterday was that it can't necessarily fill a void. And it is because face-to-face is just so important. And I don't see it as a threat to our industry. I just think that it's going to have an additional offering pivoting forward, because those interactions matter, and it is truly what deeply connects us as people and on a relative level. It is how we remember each other the most and build on that connection when we all leave a conference and go back home. There are memories that trigger how people made us feel, and we hold on to that more so than some of the content even that we receive in person or virtually. Again, that is unless it's coming from someone that you connect with on a deeper level, because then you're going to hear them and understand them and you're going to connect on that. And I think it's inspiring to know that the power of meetings and human connection lies in that. It shows how dynamic this industry is, and I think that the future is bright. And MPI says it best. Their tagline is, when we meet, we change the world. And it might sound cheesy, but I 100% believe that we can change each other's world just by basic human interaction. We take away a lot from each other, and we have so much to build each other up on. And this panel alone, I feel like, has recharged me and given me a different sense of purpose that I didn't have before, because it was so easy to like feel sorry for yourself or like, what am I going to do right now? Because you don't know how to pivot forward because you don't have that daily human interaction anymore. But thank goodness we do have virtually that does still keep us connected. So I just think it's going to help us reshape this industry in a better way than it was before.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely not cheesy at all. Human interaction is so important. I mean, even in this panel, we're all humans and we're all interacting with one another.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
All right. Okay. And then our next question, this is for all of our panel. What are you looking forward to most once you are out of the quarantine? We'll begin with Tui. What are you looking forward to? Tui?
She's muted.
She's muted? Okay, let me go ahead and unmute. Thanks.
Thank you. I was like, I feel like I've had this question asked to me a couple of times, and especially in some of these webinars. And, you know, when I think about it, I say, well, do I want to travel? Do I want to actually just like hug someone I love? Do I want to, there's a thing called Smorgasbord out here, which is basically all the food trucks. So do I want to like support all these restaurants again, single-handedly by eating all the food? But I actually don't know what I would want to do. And I wanted to say that's okay. Like going back to saying it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to know about the future. And so my mindset and how I've approached this quarantine has been taking it one day at a time.
Mhm.
And that's helped bring my peace of mind. So I don't know. And I'm excited to find out once we figure out when we can go back to normal life.
Yeah. I think you forgot one important thing. You should go visit, since you're an unofficial Tiger King expert, shouldn't you go visit the zoo?
The GW.
The GW zoo, yes.
I feel like they already know I'm obsessed with them, so I'm sure they have already tried to figure out how to keep me in LA. But if anyone wants to talk about Tiger King, I'm happy to do so.
All right. How about you, Emily? What are you looking forward to?
I would say like I'm looking forward to meeting my brides again and clients and try to sit down with them and see like how we can go and plan this for the next, for the rescheduling and the postponement. At the same time, I'm not looking forward to it because I'm not ready for what the answer might be. I'm just like waiting to see what's gonna happen, and I don't want to stress about it. It is what it is, and I'll just handle it one bride at a time.
All right. Thank you, Emily. Chandra, what are you looking forward to?
I'm actually really looking forward to going back to work, back to the office, seeing all my coworkers, seeing all my friends and family. I'm a hugger, and it is not easy to have to stay away from everybody.
Yeah, and we're thinking probably when we come back, we're going to think of new ways to hug.
Right.
Air hugs.
Tiger hugs.
Tiger hugs. All right. How about you, Rebecca? What are you looking forward to?
Just like everyone else has said, I'm excited to give people hugs, and I'm excited to see my team again and go back to work and do happy hours at a restaurant. And I'm excited to travel. I was supposed to go to Europe this year, so those plans were postponed, but I'm excited to start planning travel again and go to Disneyland and do all the things that just brought us so much joy, like a concert or any random thing that we just can't do. It makes us appreciate it so much more. So just excited to do all the things, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. And Mandy, what are you looking forward to?
Nothing. I really like being in my little hole. No. No. I'm excited to get out and actually clink a glass with someone instead of just putting it up to the camera. Thank you. Yeah. Just a good happy hour, just good conversation and physical touch. I mean, I'm so excited. I mean, manicure, pedicure, all those things too.
All right. Thank you. All right. So we're now going to go to question and answer from our audience. So I'm going to go ahead and stop share the screen so we get to see everyone's beautiful faces. If everyone could just wave hi. All right. So for the question and answer, if you guys have a question, I can go ahead and look down the chat feature. But let's see what we have here on the chat feature. Clifford asked a question. What's your best tip for a polished resume? Anyone wants to chime in on that?
Anthony actually said you're the resume expert, so you should answer that.
Oh, I know.
Turn of the tables.
I mean, I say the best tip for a polished resume would be, one of the things is making sure that your resume is relevant to the job that you're applying for and customizing it to that. If you are applying for an event position, you don't want to put in your objective a hospitality professional. Maybe change it to like an event professional. Be very key and target towards those keywords. A good tip is look at the job description that you're applying for. If any of those words in those job description is nowhere to be found in your resume, chances are it's not a good resume. You want to have some of those words in that job description to match what's on your resume. That's one thing. All right. Any questions? Let's see and look at the chat feature. What would be helpful would be if everyone has a question to our panel, if they can go ahead and click on the reaction button on your Zoom screen and raise your hand just like that. Right. So does anyone have a question? I'm just going to go through, going to go ahead and scan through the gallery. Don't be shy.
While we're waiting to see if anybody has questions, I just want to say, I think right now it's really important for all of us to really take some time to do some self-care and acknowledge that while we're not able to be our normal productive selves, it's okay to just relax. I think so many of us are constantly feeling guilty for not, having something to do constantly, or have a big project that we have coming up that we're not, working on. And it's hard for us with, our normal go mentality to just let go.
Thanks for sharing, Chandra. Looks like we have a question from Brian. Brian asked, how long would you guys think the industry will take to recover, and not necessarily fully recover? It seems like most of the events that are made will be pushed for the next few months. So would it be like 1 to 2 years before new events would start being made to fruition?
We're gonna really start getting going the second half of the year. Might be slow moving at first, but I think so many people are so eager to get out right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's gonna take quite as long as some people are saying.
Yeah, okay. It's always good to be hopeful, but yeah.
Yeah, Event MB actually put out a couple of great articles. One of them about what the future of events will look like, and it's basically shorter. They're not going to be like 6-day conferences anymore in the corporate world. They're going to be more local because that will, reduce the traveling, especially, whether that's domestic or internationally, and then smaller. I don't think ballrooms are going to be at max cap anymore. And the way that we even think about our catering, which just reminded me of Patty Shock, is it's going to be different, right? Like our buffets, are they going to look the same? Probably not. So right now it's finding that time to figure out, how can I be creative, and what are the audience and the guests are going to be thinking, whether you're corporate, social, or weddings, like what is that going to look like, and who are they and why are they here, and how can I now, just like how sustainability is so important now, hygiene and safety is going to be also like a question when you're vetting venues and your supplier partners.
And what Tui mentioned, that resource was Event MB. For those who are not familiar, that's eventmanagerblog.com. So definitely look into that, and you can find some great analysis and reports on the state of the event industry.
Yeah, they just put out a little graph too of like highly likely, depending on like the year. I just saw them post that either today or yesterday. So that's a great resource to go to.
Okay, Cheryl has a question. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the MPI sessions from the Global Meeting Industry Day yesterday, it's 12 hours of content, and every session had something that was invaluable to take with you. It's incredible, and it's continuing education credits. If you're working on your CMP, it goes towards those, and they're all recorded. So that's definitely a good resource to check out, is MPI.
MPI, okay, which stands for Meeting Planners International, right?
Thanks, Anthony. Yes.
All right.
These acronyms.
Yes. So Cheryl has a question. What is your biggest takeaway from your time at TISOH, and what is something you wish you would have taken advantage of more? Who wants to chime in on that?
I can answer that.
Okay.
I feel like my biggest takeaway was the people that I met. Even though we had a small, intimate class, I feel like it was an awesome class, and it was small but mighty, and it was so wonderful. And Pat Norman led that along with so many other guest speakers and some other teachers that came in and out. So I think that was very valuable that I took away from TISOH. Anthony, even before I actually attended TISOH, you've always been very helpful with whenever I needed any volunteers or any additional hands on deck for any projects. So I feel like having those different type of connections, and I was a part of the semester last year, already being in the industry for so many years already. I just wanted to make sure that I took advantage of this amazing hospitality school here in Las Vegas, and I'm so grateful that I work for a company that also believes in their employees and wants to further develop us. So I was able to take advantage of the reimbursement that they gave me. But I wish I did that a while ago. I wish I didn't do it. It was great as a refresher and seeing the planning stages for meetings and events from different eyes that I hadn't necessarily been on before. So that was great to learn that content. But I do wish I had done it a while ago. So if anything, I'm like, great job to the students that are doing it right now with knowing that this is the direction that they want to go. I did go to UNLV a while ago for hospitality, but I don't think I even knew of TISOH at the time. So that would have been great because it would have been strictly geared and on a smaller level where you're more comfortable to talk to anyone and ask for help. So I do think that was my biggest takeaway. And I would like to add that any of the students, on top of just tapping into any of the free resources right now, you can also reach out to any of us. We were so thrilled to be a part of this panel because we loved to just share our experience and help you guys go through it all, because we've all been there, and right now we're all in the same boat together. But we have nothing but time, and I think it is the biggest compliment to reach out to somebody that you look up to or you really want to hear more of their story, because that's exciting for us. Like, we love to share that with anyone because we wish that people were also there for us, like we wish we would have asked for then. So we're all here for you guys too.
All right, thank you, Rebecca. And if anyone wants to get in contact with any of our panels, just feel free to reach out to me and we'll definitely share that information to you. All right, question from Florence. what are some things that you recommend to expand industry connections and interactions while staying at home? So you guys are all, well, I mean, number one is we're all here connecting with each other virtually, right? Yeah. But anybody you would recommend? Yes, Mandy.
I would say it's just important to be constantly contacting people, being in their faces, introvert or extrovert. It's all about staying in contact. You know, as they keep saying, it's not disengagement. We're just quarantined. We don't need to be disengaged. We just need to keep in contact with each other. Is my thoughts.
Okay. All right. Okay, our next question.
Platforms for virtual hangouts.
Virtual hangouts, yes. Any of those virtual happy hours, even though it's fun, it is a way of connection. Yeah. You get to meet new people. And a question from Ian Zeitzer. Is anyone concerned that some of your favorite vendors will go out of business permanently? And how do you plan to tackle those situations? Who wants to answer that?
Yes, I think there is that worry, concern for everyone in the industry, because we don't know what the end date, start date of this is going to be. So every vendor, every connection, every partner that we have in the city, big, small, and between, that's an absolute concern. We hope they're there on the other side. We hope the government is giving them enough support to get through this. And even if they go out now, hopefully they resurge on the other side of this when it does a restart.
Thanks. Thank you, Mandy. I know Emily, me and you talked about this actually when COVID-19 actually happened and we were told to vacate TISOH. You were handling a wedding couple and you were afraid that one of your vendors were either here or not here. Can you share us that story?
I forgot the question. So this vendor, this wedding was in March 14. It's at the Waldorf Astoria. Because of what's happening already, I am like in panic mode because of what I heard that they're going out of business. And the design part of it, the core rentals are coming from this one vendor alone. So I had to be on the phone talking to the person that I'm dealing with just to make sure that, hey, is everything okay? Are we good to go? Because we're like few days to the wedding date. And she assured me that everything will go as planned. And yeah, it did. But at that point, I was really like, what am I going to do? Because most of our design and rental is coming from one vendor. And then if that doesn't happen, what's my plan B? So that's when you kind of like, you try to work on the plan B and plan C, contingencies that you have. There's no such thing as like perfectly planned one, but if you're more detailed and then the logistics of it, the more that you know, the better for you. You can attack these issues.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. Yeah, I mean, I always have a separate, different plan. Even I'm sure, like even before COVID-19 happened, and you guys all are dealing with your vendors, some of them might just go away the next day. Whether that be the availability or whatever that they have. All right, so right now it is 5:25 p.m. So we're going to round it up. We're going to answer one last question. This question's coming from Anna. Can you all share your favorite reads, books, and magazines, blogs, and etc.? So does anyone have one that they want to share, like just speaking wise, and then we will put it down the link on the chat feature?
I heard Eventbrite was really great. Like there's this one host that's like so funny and knowledgeable.
Who's that host, Tui? Who's that Eventbrite?
Definitely not Tui. It's probably Dustin Will or or Nick Borelli.
And Event
But
Brew.
Event Brew, yes, which is hosted by Hello Endless.
Okay.
And so I'll share that link with everyone in the chat pane. But actually, The Daily, the New York Times, is a great one, podcast that I listen to every day, like Monday through Friday, while I'm like cooking or anything of that sort. It's so well crafted, and it just gives you the facts without, it's like I really feel like it's true reporting. And that's something that's so great, because we always say like, listen to these webinars, but on top of, I feel like it's minimum to be involved in the industry and to get the knowledge, industry related. But really what's going to take you to the next step is listening and seeing and like reading articles that aren't involved in our industry. Look at fashion or whatever inspires you, the color tone of a certain building, like those are the things that are really food, anything like clothing. So yeah, I would say The Daily is something that I love and
All
like
right.
will listen to.
Thank you, Tui. And I think this pretty much sums up, we'll end this panel on a positive note. Once again, I want to thank our amazing panel, Tui, Emily, Chandra, Rebecca, and Mandy for taking time out of your day to be part of this panel discussion. Also want to thank our audience members. I know everyone in the audience will either be a TISOH student, a faculty, part of the TISOH faculty, maybe an industry friend. I want to thank you guys for your participation. I think it's very important for all of us to connect during this time. And, you guys have definitely shown through with our TISOH pride.